This thing right here, we call the donkey, and this is one of those scenarios for us. We built this four-wheeler and kind of customized it to be a sprint car workhorse because I can neither afford a Kawasaki mule with a conversion box on it, nor can we fit one in our trailer. And if it wasn't going to be hard enough to come up with the $25,000-ish it would take to get one of those mules, I certainly wasn't going to be able to come up with enough money to buy a new trailer so that we could haul said mule. And once you get to the racetrack, the mule's a little big and cumbersome, so most of the big teams use a small four-wheeler anyway for pushing the car around. And this is our solution. So it's built off of a 2001 Honda Foreman 450 all-wheel drive quad. First modification we had to make was this push bar. It was a simple installation. Took an old tire that got cut and made a pad. Couple of pieces of treated 2x material and some U-bolts, and bolted that to the frame so that we had a means to push the car around in the pits. And we encounter a scenario more and more commonly now where we qualify out of the infield. So you are at your trailer outside the racetrack. You come in, they push you onto the racetrack for hot laps, you do your practice, then after hot laps, instead of going back to your trailer, they bring you down into the infield of the racetrack, and you get a couple minutes between hot laps and qualifying as the qualifying starts that you might be able to make a few adjustments to your car if necessary, and then you go out and run the two of the most important laps you're going to run all night. And so we got caught with our pants down, so to speak, a couple times by that, and realized, hey, we need to come up with a solution. So this thing isn't designed to haul every potential spare part of the car in order to be able to fix it in the work area, because we're not running for points. So putting a car back together after we crashed it in a hurry to go back out and try to salvage points isn't something we need to do. But we certainly need to be able to go to the infield and be prepared to make a few changes if we miss it in hot laps for qualifying, because that can spell pretty much the end of your effort if you don't. So first thing to look at on this thing, we have a little toolbox. I bought this for like $25, I think, at Menards. And I'll walk you through what we carry in our toolbox. Tried to basically have everything we'd need for maintenance or making adjustments on the car, quick repairs. So in the top box here, these are A&N line wrenches. We carry all four sizes for the fuel lines, water lines, etc., on the car. So we got A&N line wrenches. We have some little pen style flashlights, so that if we're working in the dark, we can shine a light. Always keep a Sharpie, utility knife. This here is a little pick, couple of tape measures for measure and stagger. These are shock limiting spacers, so if we want to make an adjustment to the amount of left rear travel we have, we can use those to do that. A tire valve core tool. Torque wrench is always clutch. We keep a little gear chart in there as well. In the main box, we've got sockets, extensions. We got zip ties back there. I have a bungee cord that we use for if we're bleeding brakes. Blow-off gun for spraying compressed air. Top drawer is all box end wrenches. We keep a couple ratcheting box end wrenches in there as well. 3/4 and 9/16 are kind of two most common sizes. Second drawer, We got T-handle Allens, regular Allen wrenches, the multi-tool of all multi-tools, the crescent wrench, 3 flathead screwdrivers, 3 standard screwdrivers for taking Zeus buttons out, Phillips screwdriver, and a nut driver for hose clamps. Bottom drawer, safety wire pliers, wire strippers, end cutters, needle nose pliers, regular pliers, vice grips. These are different risers for our setup blocks, some unibits, a countersinking bit, a roll of electrical tape. These are all of our fuel pills for making adjustments to the fuel mixture on the engine, tuning the engine. Set of drill bits. We got a roll of Gorilla Tape on the side of the box. So that pretty much wraps up what we carry in our toolbox down to the infield. On the side, we have our setup blocks for if we're changing torsion bars. Sprint cars run a torsion bar instead of a coil spring. Pardon the mess, I've got a lot of stuff apart. So here's a torsion bar. We've got 2 tubes here that are just PVC that you can slide a torsion bar into and carry a spare bar along with you in case you want to make a spring rate change. We got a spot here for 2 sets of gears. So these slide out like this, and you got a set of quick change gears in there. So that's how we change the gear ratio on the car. It goes pretty quick. So typically what we do before we head in for qualifying is we'll have 1 gear set that'll give us more RPM and 1 gear set that'll give us less RPM, so we have an adjustment either direction if we go out and practice and decide that we need to make a change. We keep a quart of rear end grease so that we can do a gear change if necessary. We keep a can of spray degreaser, WD-40, brake clean, glass cleaner. This here is our weather station. So this guy has a little computer and it will measure the air and all of the different facets of the air. So you turn it on and you can hit the sample button and it's gonna measure the air. So it'll tell you the temperature, the humidity, barometric pressure, date and time, and ultimately it boils it down to a density, altitude, and an ADR, which is basically a correction that we use to fuel the engine. Probably make another video on fueling the engine and how we go about that in a later video. Got our wheel wrench here for pulling a wheel off and changing tires. This spot, and I don't have it in there right now, we can carry a spare Jacob's ladder. It's this piece here. It holds the rear end in the car centered, and if you bang the wall or something, it's pretty easy to knock off. We have this Milwaukee bag where we carry all of our battery tools so that we've got them handy. We got an air tank, so if we need to change air pressure, we can. Jack rides down below that and bungee cords down onto it so that we can jack the car up if necessary. These wheel mounts pull out and flip back, and we've got a bunch of spacers on there now, but you can slide a wheel and tire assembly so we can carry an extra left rear, right rear, pair of left rears, whatever we feel like we want to take down to have a couple tire options. We can do that. Here we have gear change pan so that if we're changing gears, we've got a place to drain the rear end grease into. That rides right in there. Has a little quick pin on it to store it. I wanted these wheel mounts to fold in because I felt like I'd end up whacking into this all the time. So they've got these quick pins as well, and you can fold them back and stow them. We got 5 gallons of race fuel, methanol for us, and a funnel so we can put fuel in. We carry extra spacers on the wheel mounts so that if we want to move wheels in and out, we can. And then this guy here can unzeus, a little tight after we just got it redone. And this is the nose wing tray. So this guy comes out, it's all full of parts. Flips open. Same type of Zeus's to lock it open. And it will sit on the front wing of the car so that you've got a place to throw some parts and pieces if necessary. If you're working on something, it's got holes down the side for holding spark plugs and nozzles and whatever else you might need. You can throw Allen wrenches or whatever in there and it'll kind of hold your tools as well. Usually this thing is all cleared out and devoid of everything except for just a few pieces of hardware that we want to have spare. And they obviously sit in there and fold up stowed. But that is a basic tour of the donkey. It's really, really worked out well for us. I mean, this thing will even start the car if we need it to. And push it off and fire the engine. So pretty proud of what we built. I bought the quad used off a guy for like $4 grand. It was in good shape, had very low mileage on it, and built the racks and bought all the stuff to go on it. And so for, man, probably a fifth of what we would have spent outfitting a mule, we've got the capability to go to the infield of a track, qualify, have options available to us so that we can adjust our car if we need to try and be quick. And it fits in the trailer. Oh yeah, one more thing. It's got a little trunk back here. We keep a ratchet strap in there that we can loop through the little tail hitch here and around the front bumper of the car. And we even use it to drag the car in the trailer and load up at the end of the night so we don't have to. So that's our donkey. I think it came out pretty sweet. Definitely excited about the black powder coat. I think it'll look even better once we get our wheel mounts anodized black, and we'll probably anodize the gear change pan black and the wheel wrench black and just kind of make it look a little bit more factory. But that's the donkey. It's one of the most important pieces of pit equipment we have, and I like it, and I'm kind of proud of it because we made it. So there you have it. Would love to hear if you got any questions about what we do with it, or have any thoughts on something that you've built instead of bought because you didn't have the budget to go out and get what everybody else had. Anyway, we'll check in with you soon.